the idea for this research paper actually started with an observation of mine looking at EU policy in the field of non-proliferation of nuclear weapons and talks within NATO about how the structuring of a future nuclear posture should look like. And even though both entities, both NATO and the European Union, actually work towards the same goal, making the world a safer place, identifying the same risk, nuclear proliferation as the major one of them, still their activities are largely decoupled. And you have the feeling that while the EU actually does a lot in the field of non-proliferation, it leaves questions of a nuclear strategy, of the use of nuclear weapons and what their role are today in our security architecture, mainly to NATO. And yes, of course, certain countries within the EU are not NATO members, but within the EU, all of them actually work together under the common security and foreign policy. So the question for me was like, why is this the case, and what actually could be done to work more efficiently? And in my opinion, it would also be very beneficial not only for us Europeans to reassure ourselves what we think, what is the role of nuclear weapons today and what should be their role in the near and midterm future, but it would also be beneficial for our key ally, the United States of America. Reassuring allies has been a major problem for the US during the whole Cold War and also afterwards. The US give far-reaching security assurances to its allies here in Europe, but also in Eastern Asia. And it would be beneficial for the United States to actually have a common voice on the other side, so that you can sit together and actually frame a common answer more easily. In the last NATO nuclear posture review that was actually done at the NATO summit in Chicago, there was a statement that this will be a nuclear alliance for as long as there are nuclear weapons. But behind the scenes, obviously, there is some disagreement about how actually this should look. Well, of course, there's the question now about nuclear zero. After Obama actually talked about it in his Prague speech a couple of years ago, a lot of debate had actually originated if this is a realistic goal, if it should be pursued, and if it can be pursued. And at the same time, you have two countries that vary us very much at the moment. That's Iran and also North Korea. North Korea already having tested a nuclear device, and as we believe, Iran is very close to do it. So we're talking on the one hand about a world free of nuclear weapons, and then we have two newcomers to the nuclear club. How does this make sense? I think it makes a lot of sense. The people who actually came up with the idea of nuclear zero, that is George Shultz, Sam Nunn, also Henry Kissinger, and John Perry, they actually initiated this exactly because they were worrying about proliferation, and up to their opinion, it's like either we contain the whole nuclear problem now or we will go totally out of control.